Monday, Monday, Monday. The Race Hub is gearing up for an action-packed week. Today's menu, Brian Vickers talks 2010 Red Bull Racing and the development of teammate Scott Speed. And later, Jimmy wins his 50th. Jeff Hammond breaks down Bristol and ranks Johnson among the sport's greats. Plus, the countdown to the grand opening of the NASCAR Hall of Fame has begun. The Hub was there for all the latest sights and sounds. We'll chase away those Monday blues next on the Hub.
NASCAR Race Hub is presented by Hooters.
Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of NASCAR Race Hub, your daily source for NASCAR news, information, and interviews with those inside the sport. I'm Rick Allen. This is Adam Alexander.
You talk about news and information, we have got plenty this week. The big test at Charlotte Motor Speedway the next 2 days. The spoiler making its debut this weekend at Martinsville, and over this last weekend, Cup teams, nationwide teams racing in Bristol, Tennessee. That's where we begin. It's weekend winners, and we start with the nationwide series. Brian Scott gets punted by Scott Wimmer, but look what's happened behind him. It ends up being Colin Brown on top of Stephen Wallace. Late in the race, Justin Allgaier takes the lead away from his teammate, Brad Keselowski. He would go on to the victory, and then late in the race, it's Kevin Harvick punting Joey Logano. Harvick finished 5th. Allgaier gets the win.
The last restart, I really tried timing it just right. God was definitely on our side, man. He gave us the run we needed, and it just it feels good. I mean, to know we were both that good and we were able to beat the 18 and the 60 just makes it that much better.
On the Cup side, well, the big boys, they're supposed to play nice, correct? Mark Martin gets hung up on Greg Biffle and creates a big pileup on lap 341. It was a multi-car incident. Well, the leaders decide it's time to pit, including Jimmy Johnson, who decides to take 4 tires, as does the Blue Deuce of Kurt Busch, also on pit road. Johnson starts 6th, works his way by Tony Stewart for the lead. Johnson finally gets a win at Bristol, leaving only 5 tracks that he hasn't won on. Big day for Jimmy Johnson.
The car rolled through 1 and 2 the first time so good. I started smiling. I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect it to be this much better than the guys around me. We got a shot at this thing. And then finally got by the 16 and then got to the outside of the 14 and off we went.
34-year-old 4-time champ continues to impress. He got to 50 wins in just 296 starts in his 9th full season. So to make that easier to understand, 1 in every 6 races he goes to victory lane. And even more ridiculous, 1 in every 2.5 races he finishes in the top 5. In the final standings, Jimmy has never been ranked out of the top 5 in points. Jimmy gets his first Bristol win. Tony Stewart gets his first top 5 of the season. And Kurt Busch leads the most laps and the most he's ever led in a Sprint Cup race, but ends up 3rd. Roush Fenway drivers hold the next 3 spots, while Dale Earnhardt Jr. breaks back into the top 10 in 7th. Where other notables finish Sunday, Harvick continues a solid season with an 11th place finish. Chasers from a year ago, Vickers, Hamlin, and Montoya, 15th, 19th, and 26th, respectively. And Logano, Kane, and Martin were involved in incidents on the track. Clint Boyer had engine problems on lap 56.
And now we look at points after 5 races. Matt Kenseth has finished in the top 10 in each of those first 5 races of the year. He is 2nd, only 1 point behind Harvick. Big movers this week include Tony Stewart, who jumped 3 spots to 5th. Kurt Busch moved up 4 positions. And what about Dale Jr. going from 13th to 8th? And when we head to Martinsville this weekend, we will operate off the current top 35 in owner points to help set the field. Robbie Gordon and Boris Said, drivers that will have to qualify in on speed. Those on the bubble, Sam Hornish Jr., Travis Kvapil, and his teammate, Kevin Conway.
Today, the NASCAR Hall of Fame kicks off the final 50 days until the grand opening on May 11th. Darrell Waltrip unveiled his championship-winning number 11 Mountain Dew Buick in the Glory Road exhibit, which will also feature 18 historic cars.
This is huge, and to be a part of the Hall of Fame is I'm proud of that. To have my car up here with all these other great cars. Initially, that was a great car, the Mountain Dew car. I think it sort of defines my career. having my name mentioned along with all these other great people and all the great drivers and the people that have made the sport what it is today, I'm flattered. I'm pleased. It's nice to be here.
Even though the opening is 50 days away, everything is going according to plan for the first official induction ceremony on May 23rd.
We announced our 50-day countdown with Darrell's car today. And when I look around and I see these 18 cars that have been loaded on Glory Road, I see the artifacts that are going in, all the graphics that have gone in, all the exhibits are in, and we're starting to get the interactives in, and we start to see the video up. And, you know, it's really come to life. It's really exciting. We've got a lot of work to do over the next few weeks, but we're confident that we're on schedule, on time, and we'll be ready to open May the 11th.
Speed is the official network of the NASCAR Hall of Fame and will have all events from the hall completely covered. The grand opening is on Tuesday, May 11th, and the first induction ceremony takes place on Sunday, May 23rd. Info on plenty of other Hall of Fame programming is coming soon. As we take our first pit stop for the night, Jeff Hammond is getting ready to let loose with his thoughts on Thunder Valley. But up next, Red Bull Racing's Brian Vickers joins us in the garage. Can he make a repeat run at the Chase? Find out next on The Hub.
Looking for a win in the Irish Hills, looking for the checkered flag here in Michigan.
Brian Vickers is going to do it. He'll score his first Sprint Cup Series win since 2006.
The Red Bull team goes to victory lane for the first time in their history.
And standing out for Brian Vickers in his Sprint Cup Series career, those wins at Talladega in Michigan, of course winning in Michigan last fall. 11 poles, quite impressive, and I guess best of all, he made the Chase last year, which is always nice. And now we welcome in to the Race Hub Garage, driver of the number 83 Red Bull Toyota, Brian Vickers. Brian, good to have you with us.
Absolutely. It's good to be on the show.
Well, let's start and talk where things are as we stand. You made a couple of jumps in the points yesterday at Bristol with a top 15 run. Talk about where you are so far in 2010.
Not quite as good as we'd like to be, but, you know, it's a good start to the season. We're better off than we were last year. We've had some really good runs, and we've had some pretty bad ones, too. Bristol, you know, we had a 5th to probably 7th place car. You know, maybe we could have made it better if we had some track position. And then we were running the top 10 when Mark hit the wall and everybody piled up. And I actually got stopped for the crash. My spotter did a great job driving me through it. Unfortunately, the guy spotter behind me didn't do as good of a job because we just got drilled from behind. And the damage wasn't bad enough that we couldn't continue, because we obviously did. Right. But it knocked the bumper bar down so low that when I went off in the corner, it picked the rear tires up off the ground. So we had to come in and fix that. We went back to like 30th. We got back up to the top 10. And on the last stop, we took 2 tires, and a bunch of guys took 4, and we lost a few spots. But all in all, it was still a good points day. And, you know, we're solidly in the points and the chase for the hunt for the Chase.
Exactly. Now, 5 races into this season, how important do you think momentum is as far as moving forward and keeping your position in the points or maybe advancing?
Momentum's important. It's, you know, it's an elusive object that is hard to just get a hold of. When you want it, you can't just go grab it. But when it's there, you know it's there. And when you're heading the right direction, you're on a roll. You know, we experienced it last year. We had, you know, 10 or 12 races that were just absolutely incredible. But it can also work against you. You know, you can have momentum going in the wrong direction. You want to turn it around, you just can't seem to sometimes. Right now, you know, yes, we'd like to be doing better, but I think we're headed in the right direction.
It is always good to have the respect of your peers, and we found out over the weekend what your teammate thinks of you. Scott Speed was quoted as saying, that guy could run for president. If you can't get along with Brian, then you've got problems. Toward the end of last year, when we started being able to work together, we were running better, and he's gaining a lot more respect for me. Scott off to a great start in 2010. Talk, if you would, a little bit about how much he has grown over the course of the last year.
Yeah, he's definitely grown a lot, you know, and his attitude, his mentality towards everything has changed, and you know, it seems like, you know, even the desire and the drive is there again. You know, I think it's easy as a race car driver. Your confidence gets beat down, and you know, last year was a tough season for him, but you know, coming from open wheels to stock cars is a difficult transition.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series heading off to Martinsville this weekend. We get Brian's thoughts on racing at the Paperclip after a break. Don't go away. Also coming up, Hollywood Hammond is in the hub. He'll give us his thoughts on the weekend that was in Bristol. Where does Johnson's 50th win place him in NASCAR history? Just how dominant is he right now? You don't want to miss what he has to say.